Welcome back to Naravu Stories. Today we're diving into the heartwarming and sometimes chaotic story of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, Season 1, Episode 1. This episode follows a young couple, Georgie Cooper and Mandy McAllister, as they begin their new life together after becoming parents at a very young age. Their relationship started in an unexpected way, and now they must figure out how to build a real family while dealing with money problems, responsibilities, and the pressure from both of their families. This episode sets the stage for the struggles, humor, and love that would define their journey. Let's jump into the full story recap. The beginning of a new life. The episode opens shortly after the events of young Sheldon, where Georgie and Mandy have already welcomed their baby daughter into the world. Georgie Cooper is only 19 years old, and despite his young age, he is trying very hard to act like a responsible adult. He now has a baby to take care of and a partner who expects him to step up as a husband and father. Mandy, on the other hand, is older than Georgie and much more mature in many ways. But even she feels overwhelmed. Becoming a mother has changed everything about her life. She worries constantly about money, stability, and whether Georgie is truly ready to handle the responsibility of being a father. The two of them are now living together and trying to adjust to their new life as parents. But from the very beginning, it's clear that things are not going to be easy. The pressure of responsibility. One of the first challenges Georgie faces is the reality of providing for his new family. He works long hours at the tire shop, doing everything he can to make money. Even though the job is exhausting, Georgie is determined to prove that he can take care of Mandy and their baby. However, Mandy is still worried. She knows that raising a child requires more than just determination. It requires financial stability, planning, and maturity. During one conversation, Mandy expresses her concerns. She tells Georgie that love alone is not enough to raise a child. They need money, a stable home, and a plan for the future. Georgie listens carefully, but deep down he feels frustrated. He knows Mandy is right, but he also feels like she doesn't fully trust him. This tension creates one of the central conflicts of the episode. Georgie wants to prove himself, while Mandy struggles to believe that he can truly handle the responsibility. Family complications. Another major challenge comes from their families. Both Georgie's family and Mandy's family have strong opinions about their relationship. Georgie's mother, Mary Cooper, is very religious and has always believed in traditional family values. She wants Georgie and Mandy to do the right thing and build a proper family for their child. At the same time, Mary is worried about her son. She knows Georgie has always been a bit reckless and impulsive. Now she hopes that fatherhood will force him to grow up. Mandy's parents also have concerns. They are not completely convinced that Georgie is the right person for their daughter. In their eyes, he is still a teenager who doesn't fully understand the seriousness of the situation. These family tensions add another layer of pressure to Georgie and Mandy's relationship. Instead of simply focusing on their new baby, they constantly feel judged by the people around them. Georgie's determination. Despite all the doubts and criticism, Georgie refuses to give up. He genuinely loves Mandy and their baby, and he wants to prove that he can be a good father. Throughout the episode, we see several moments that reveal Georgie's determination. He takes extra shifts at work, tries to save money, and even looks for ways to improve their living situation. There is one touching moment when Georgie holds his baby daughter and promises that he will always take care of her. In that moment, it becomes clear that even though he is young, his love for his child is completely real. Mandy watches this moment quietly. She sees the sincerity in Georgie's eyes, and for the first time she begins to believe that maybe he really can change. Mandy's emotional struggle. While Georgie is trying to prove himself, Mandy is dealing with her own emotional challenges. Becoming a mother has changed everything for her. She feels exhausted, overwhelmed, and sometimes even scared about the future. She worries about whether she made the right choices and whether she and Georgie can truly build a stable life together. At one point, Mandy confides in her mother about these fears. She admits that she sometimes feels like everything happened too quickly. But despite her doubts, Mandy also knows that she cares deeply about Georgie. She sees how hard he is trying, and part of her wants to believe that their relationship can work. This internal conflict makes Mandy one of the most relatable characters in the story. A small but important victory. Near the end of the episode, Georgie manages to achieve a small but meaningful success. After working extremely hard and proving himself at the tire shop, he earns a bit of respect from his boss. This gives him confidence that he might eventually build a stable career. It may not seem like a huge achievement, but for Georgie it represents something much bigger. It shows that he is capable of growing and becoming more responsible. When he shares this news with Mandy, she smiles for the first time in a while. It's a small step, but it gives them both hope. The couple finds their balance. The episode ends with a quiet and emotional moment between Georgie and Mandy. They sit together late at night while their baby sleeps. For once, there are no arguments, no pressure from family, and no overwhelming worries. Instead, they simply talk honestly about their fears and their hopes for the future. Georgie admits that he knows he still has a lot to learn, but he promises that he will never stop trying. Mandy, touched by his sincerity, finally tells him that she believes in him. In that moment, it becomes clear that their relationship may not be perfect, but it is built on genuine love and determination. And sometimes, that is enough to keep a family together. Why this episode matters. The first episode of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage sets the tone for the entire series. Instead of focusing only on comedy, the show explores real-life issues like young parenthood, financial struggles, and the challenge of building a relationship under pressure. The story of Georgie Cooper and Mandy McAllister is both funny and emotional because it feels real. They are not perfect people. They make mistakes, argue, and sometimes doubt themselves. But they also care deeply about each other and their child, which makes their journey incredibly compelling. And that's the full story of Georgie and Mandy Season 1, Episode 1. This episode shows the beginning of a challenging but heartfelt journey for Georgie and Mandy as they try to build a life together while raising their daughter. Their story is full of humor, love, and real-life struggles that many young families can relate to. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Neravu Stories, and stay tuned for more movie and series story breakdowns. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.